The Magic Key reservation calendar for December is nasty, and is trouble brewing between Disneyland and cast member unions. All coming up next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Baked. Here's what's new in Disneyland news this week. And we're going to start with Magic Key reservations. They are back in the news this week, and it's because of this. That right there in the middle is the December calendar for Dream Key, the key that has no blockout dates. As of the writing of this story, there is not one single date available to reserve for the entire month. And if you're a Dream Key holder whose preference is perhaps to go on the weekends, it's not that much better in January. There are no weekends available until the 23rd of January from now, or DCA on the 2nd. But this is old news, right? We've heard this story before. Well, there's something about this particular scenario that I wanted to get a little more attention. I wanted to highlight a particular aspect of the Dream Key reservation drama. It's not that I, as a Dream Key holder, can't presently make a reservation for the month of December. It's that this calendar looks way too much like this calendar. One guess which pass this is for. If you guessed the Imagine Key, you were correct. Well done. But the reality is all the keys look like this right now. All the keys. Here's the Believe Key. Same exact 6 dates in November. It actually does have a 1 December date available on the 6th, but otherwise all booked up. Calendar looks the same for January as well, which it should, by the way, for the most part, as the Believe Key has the same blockout calendar as Dream, save for those 2 weeks in December. Enchant Key, same 6 days in November, empty December, and then again, a very similar looking calendar in January. Now, Enchant is blocked out for the last half of December and the first week of January. And then here's the Imagine Key again, 6 days in November, all of December, then again, similar looking calendar in January. Again, in this case, it looks that way because of the blockout calendar. To be expected. You're getting what you paid for with the Imagine Key. But the problem that a lot of Dream Key holders are having right now is that their calendar should not look like an Imagine Key calendar or even an Enchant Key. A premium is being paid for the Dream Key. There's a price difference between Dream and Imagine of $1,000. But here we are in the 1st of November, and the calendars look exactly the same. Now, hopefully, if you're a Dream Key holder and you've got some dates booked up, you've got some November booked, you've got some December booked, maybe you do have some of those dates you want. But there are 9 weekends and 3 holidays between now and the end of the year. But a Dream or Believe Key holder can only commit to 6 of those 12 possible dates. I say 12 if I'm assuming just one Saturday or just one Sunday for each of those 9 weekends. So 9 weekend dates plus 3 holidays, 12 dates. You can only commit to 6. As for the rest of those weekends or other days that you might want to go between now and the end of the year, you're going to have to gamble. You're going to have to hope that those dates refill. Now, I've said before, it is completely understood. Eyes were wide open. All dates were subject to availability. Disney said that up front. There's going to be, dates are going to sell out, and you may or may not get the dates you want. Understood. The thing that I'm looking at in illustrating this comparison is what incentive do Dream Key holders have to continue being Dream Key holders, to pay that $1,400, or in the case of a Believe Key, $950? What incentive do either of those passes have in renewing next year? So perhaps a better question might be, is this what Disneyland wants? Is this the result that they were after? Do they want to turn Dream and Believe Key holders into Enchant or Imagine Key holders? It's an honest question, and one that I don't have a positive answer to right now. There was a time when I was 100% positive that Disney really wanted to have an annual pass program, that they really did value all levels of key holders, including, well, I'm going to use the modern reference to Dream Keys, but Signature Plus, let's say. But today, I'm not as positive. I think there is a chance that maybe they don't want those kind of passes in the parks. It's a very interesting situation, one that I'm really curious. I really want to know what Disney's endgame is here. Is that their wish to convert more annual pass holders into single-day ticket holders? Perhaps, maybe there is some truth to the concept that while they have fewer people in the park, while they may not have as much attendance in the park, they're making it up somewhere else. I don't want to pretend to understand the economics of this, but are they making more via single-day tickets? And then, I don't know, do they spend more in the park? Are they spending more time in the park? Do they want that? Couple that with Genie Plus and this notion of paying per ride. getting paying separately for individual attractions. And it does feel like Disney's trending towards an a la carte system, very much similar to. I mean, are we gravitating towards the ticket books again? People have been joking about that. I joked about that months ago in live streams, etc. But it sure does feel like it's trending that way. Now, I'll end this conversation with one observation that is very much worth noting. The November calendar at one point looked a lot like that Dreamkey calendar. Just wasn't that long ago, a few weeks ago. So it's very likely that the December calendar will repopulate again with new dates. And that's been the case. November was a wasteland, but now if you were to go, you could book a date for today or tomorrow in November. You just have to have patience and the willingness to go into the website, refresh it, look for your date, and just hope for the best. I've been doing it a lot, and so can you, and it is a drag, and it does make me wonder if it's going to be the pass for me when we renew in next July. Okay, with that, let's next talk about the ongoing negotiations between Disney and some of its unions at the Disneyland Resort. Namely, that they're not going very well. The union representing attraction cast members, for example, that is the one that's getting the most attention right now. They're asking for an increase to $17 per hour. And this is to match what has become a very competitive marketplace for employment, just for any kind of entry-level position, such as those you can find at Disneyland for attractions. Disney countered with a 3% increase, which equates to roughly $15.50 an hour. That's a 50-cent raise instead of a $2 raise. For what it's worth, the standard cost of living increase is generally accepted to be about 5 to 6% per year. That is to say, inflation increases by that rate, and therefore it is expected that pay increases by that rate, goes up by 5% a year. Now, in addition to the modest 3% increase, Disney also did not include any increases in their offer for those long-term cast members. They're increasing only the floor, the bottom, the minimum. So if you were making 18 before, you're still making 18 after this. You're not getting an increase also from 18 to 20, for example. Essentially, the wage increase is only for new hires or those who are otherwise making the minimum. Now, just after that news of the 3% increase broke, we heard news again that Disney had increased their offer to $17 for the minimum, the floor. So they did agree to that part of it. But again, no similar increase for long-term cast members, and that is where we stand right now. No agreement with unions scheduled to meet with cast members in a couple of weeks to discuss what their plans are, how they're going to counter that offer. Now, as for any particular commentary I might have on this situation, over the years, for a very long time, Disney has held the upper hand consistently in these situations, mostly because they had an almost unlimited supply of people who were ready, willing, and eager to work for the Disney company. In the same way, they had an unlimited supply of guests willing to come to Disneyland no matter what the prices were. So Disney has always had that feeling that if a cast member wasn't happy with how much they made or how well they were being treated or not being treated or whatever, they just simply were let go, or they chose to quit and they just hire somebody else because there was another person who was just waiting in line to get a job at Disneyland. But in these post-COVID times, things are very much different. Things are very different today than they were before. It is very difficult. It is proven to be almost impossible, it seems like, considering what we see out there in the market. You go out there, drive around, and you can see signs up everywhere. Now hiring, we're desperate. They're even putting up how much they're going to pay you right there on the banner, on the building, which you never would have seen that before. So the marketplace for employment today is much more competitive than it has ever been. And Disney does not have that upper hand anymore. They don't have that to fall back on. People are not as ready, willing, and eager to work for the Disneyland company. So Disney is no longer in a position of strength, quite the opposite actually. But the one thing that they do have going for them, and God bless these folks, is that the cast members that are there today, they really do, they want an agreement. They want to work for Disney. They enjoy it. They're there. They want to be there. So all they have to do is they just want to get, they just want to pay a little bit more than $15.50 an hour. And I think Disney understands this, and I think they will come around. As we noticed, they've already, countered with the increase to 17 for the minimum. They just need to get a better offer for the rest of the cast. By the way, this whole conversation is happening at the same time as the Measure L situation. A bunch of cast members filed suit against Disney to enforce Measure L. In case you don't know, Measure L was a law that was passed years ago that required any company in the city of Anaheim that was in the resort business. And Anaheim has basically become a resort town. That means hotels, that means Disney. They were required to pay $18 an hour. But that was supposed to be enforced by the end of this year, if I'm not mistaken. They had until the end of this year to do that. Disney has not done that yet, obviously. So the cast members have filed suit against Disney to enforce that law. It's expected that they're going to win that case if it were to go to trial or court or whatever, because it's already a law. It's already something that's been passed by the voters. And I guess the only distinction, the only thing that has to be decided is whether or not Disney is a resort company. I mean, I'm pretty sure they are. There was the issue of whether or not they received any sort of incentives or kickbacks or tax breaks or things like that. And if they weren't getting any of those things, then they weren't subject to those laws. But I don't think that there's any chance that Disney is not. We thought maybe that was the reason why they canceled the previous hotel project, but there's a number of different things going on at the Disneyland Resort and the Disney company where they are getting incentives from the city. So it does sound like this is a no-brainer, but who knows? We're still here. It's almost the end of the year, and Measure L has not been enforced yet at Disneyland. Stay tuned for that, I guess. There are a lot of moving parts in this conversation, but I guess the bottom line is that Disney cast are underpaid, and we need to fix that. And by the way, there's a few folks, when I've talked about this in the past, have said, well, David, I mean, you sure you want that? Because that just means they're going to increase ticket prices. That'll get passed on to the consumer. And my answer to that is, okay, okay, that's fine. I would gladly pay a little bit more for my tickets or for my annual pass if it meant that cast members are going to be paid a fair, livable wage. As a matter of fact, that's how you and I get paid also, by raising prices for the people who are buying whatever product or service that you and I are selling at our respective jobs. In the meantime, while we wait for this to work out, if you're in the parks, be kind to a cast member. Show them that you love and appreciate and respect them. That's one of the things that makes them want to provide even better service back at you. You got to give a little to get a little. Got to give action to get action. And with that, also follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and would like to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you very much. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked.